Alright, we're back around for round 4. I'm back in the old client as the beta decided to never actually load my game, so I just went to this to make sure it actually came up. This hand's actually probably keepable. There's only one card that's really going to be probably never cast in the game, that's the Chieftain. The Goblin Bushwhacker, the game ender, so I can draw the land. I do enjoy having the guide and the other 2 1-drops. They're actually worthwhile, as well as the grenade for the reach in case I get stuck on one land. So while other times in this situation I have not, or I have mulligan, this time I'm not going to. And then just as usual, I will pull up Blood Crypt, just to make sure I have the black in case I need it later. I mean, I could play the Foundry Street Denizen here first. I'm not sure if I don't generally like doing that, just because depending on what he has, it could easily be the Goblin Guide becomes less valuable the later it comes out. And so here, right, is a good reason why I keep this window open. I know my opponent did not play the land he drew, so I still know he has this in his hand. It's also one reason why you'll see a lot of players will keep all the same art land in there. See, this time he discarded that land, so. But yeah, so if you keep all the same land, or image of land, you reveal less information in theory. Or it makes less for you to keep track of, because you have to keep track of all of the lands you play. And so my opponent looks like he's discarding again. Apparently is a handful of land, so. I would really like to see another land at some point, obviously. But I knew that was a risk when I kept this hand to begin with. He's probably going to mana leak this, I'm guessing, or, oh, Condescend, okay. Of all the ones I have, that's probably the least valuable, so I'm perfectly fine with him having Condescend that one as opposed to something else. I do find it interesting that every single time I've attacked him, he's drawn a land. That is the downside of the Goblin, but in the decks you play him in, he fills the role perfectly fine. If they draw some extra land, they draw some extra land. Alright, we will try the Loyalist again. Given the deck he's played so far, I imagine he'd actually be better off with Compulsive Research so he could discard a land as opposed to having to discard an artifact. And here, if he wants, he can now... Oh, he has Urzatron. Hopefully he doesn't have Wormcoil Engine. I'm actually even probably fine with Karn. Wormcoil Engine is a life gainer, is the one that's the worst for me. Actually. We'll see... what he does here. I'm worried that if I try and Goblin Grenade, he'll have a counterspell and I'll lose this, so here we go. There's that. There's pretty much nothing at this point that I can draw that will actually let me win. Now that he's played the Worm Coil Engine. And of course now I get the second land, so I thought that would have helped much earlier. I mean, if he decides to attack, I can try and push through. So the game's not necessarily over yet, as I do have a grenade and a bushwhacker. One on bottom, one on top, so hopefully nothing too insane. Obviously I don't declare an attack there, there's just no value in it. If I can draw a land here, I can go bushwhacker and hit him for... I don't know if it's going to be enough still. Yeah, unfortunately there's nothing I can do on this game. I shouldn't have, probably shouldn't have kept that first hand. I mean, if I had drawn a second land earlier, I probably would have been able to win. Against a deck like his, Ruin Blaster is probably the best option, as I can destroy some of his Urza lands if I get up to 4 mana. Smash Smithereens is another option, as the Worm Coil Engine is pretty hard for me to fight. I think I'll actually take it out for the Lightning Bolts. It also doubles in that if it can kill his Expedition maps if he doesn't have the mana to, or if he plays them out and doesn't have the mana to actually crack it at that point. I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. It's also pretty risky keeping. It's 5 land opposite, which is really bad. But I'm not sure against him I'm going to get a better 6-hander. Trying to decide if I want to go through with this one or if I want to mull again. The benefit here is if he plays Expedition map, I can smash Smithereens it, which I think will put me in a really good position. So I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this. And while normally I would play the anti-toggle first, I want to pull as many lands out as I possibly can so I have less chance of drawing them. So I'm going to play all of my fetch lands first. Given what's on my board right now, I'm just going to pay that kill cost. I don't have any other creatures to play, so I'm not necessarily making it better. Of course, I draw a creature then. I'm guessing here my opponent's probably just going to play the Thirst for Knowledge when he gets the chance. I don't think I'm going to play the Bushwhacker as well. I have a decent feeling my opponent probably has Condescend in hand, or some kind of counterspell. If he has Condescend, he can't force me to pay for the, or he can stop it, whereas otherwise not. Okay, and that's fine. Now, an interesting question here is if I want to smash Smithereens, the Expedition map. He'll deal 3 damage to him, put him at 5, and if I play the Bushwhacker and the Spice Checker, he'll be dead, so I definitely do want to smash Smithereens this. And that's why I chose this over other traditional artifact removal. It still furthers the plan of the deck by dealing damage, which is quite important. Alright, we're off to game 3. I'll most likely be on the draw, which does put the Ruin Blasters in a lot worse position. I don't think there's anything I want to pull in place of them, though. There's just nothing else is really good against him. Lowering my curve and playing more creatures, I don't necessarily think it's going to be the best option. I mean, I'm already running 32 creatures. I think this is too slow for him, so I wouldn't want to put that in over the Ruin Blasters. It's possible that I do want the Bolts or the Pillar of Flames. I did play some guys, as I saw, not very many, that are low. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep the deck as it is. And this is definitely a mulligan hand. 3 4-drops and a 3-drop with 1 land. Well, we'll see how this hand works out. Unfortunately, I go into 5. At least here, I can play all my cards, so. I don't want to draw any more lands, so I'm just going to crack one at this point. I mean, I'll be able to use the Hobble next turn if I have to anyway, or the turn after even, so. My guess is my opponent once again has Condescend, however I'm just going to play a 1-drop, so even if he does have Condescend, it won't matter. He may have Repeal here, but that's also fine. I do wish I had drawn a non-land that turn. It's an interesting choice to pay 4 mana, or pay 4 life to get rid of 2 damage, in my opinion. So I'm guessing this next turn he'll drop the Treasure Mage, unfortunately, which puts up a blocker. As it is, he's still quite away from being able to play that. This time I'm not going to pay the Echo cost. He could be playing Condescend again, and I do want to play around that, so when I drop the Bushwhacker. So if he taps out, I can actually play the Bushwhacker. I guess it really depends on what he does. Alright, and here I'm definitely not going to pay the Echo cost, because now he doesn't have enough to Condescend my Bushwhacker. Because I'll have 4 mana to put into it, or I'll have 2 mana up afterwards. And I just got a defense against the Wormcoil Engine. I haven't seen any other counterspells other than Condescend, so I'm not worried about mana leak or anything like that. Let's hope he doesn't have those. He may have a Cyclonic Rift, but I feel like that'd be a suboptimal play for him. And here he just most likely blocks my Goblin Guide. I'd be surprised if he did any other way. So in this next turn, if he plays the Solemn Simulacrum, I can just smash it at the end of turn, and that will give me the 3 damage. Let the 3 damage through as well. So this isn't too bad of a go, since I mulligan down to 5 to start this game. He's also only drawing Urza Towers, which doesn't help, or it doesn't help him, but I'm quite okay with. And him tapping both his blue mana means I definitely have nothing to worry about here. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave any comments. I'm still relatively new to recording, so any tips you can give me to help would be appreciated.